All right, what's going on, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be going over the Infantry Basic Officer Leaders course, or Ibolc. I had a similar video like this before, but we had some copyright issues. YouTube took it down, so we're going to redo it, and we're going to redo it better. Okay, so in this video, I'll talk about what Ibolc is, what you can expect while you're there, and also I'll give you some tips and tricks and some gear that I think you should be going ahead and getting now before you show up to Ibolc. That's going to help you throughout the course. First, make sure to like and subscribe because it really does help push these videos out to more people and allow them to get this useful information as well. So hit that like and subscribe for me. Do it for me, do it for your peers, do it for your buddies. So first of all, Ibolc is the basic leadership course for second lieutenants who just got their commission and now they need to go get qualified as infantry officers. So you show up to Fort Benning, you get your housing all squared away, you turn in all your paperwork, and you immediately start training. You can expect marksmanship training, 1 to 2 weeks of that. You can expect land navigation, a whole week of that. You can expect troop leading procedures. That is about, 1 to 2 weeks long. You can expect small unit tactics at the squad and platoon level. You'll spend about, I remember when I was at Ibolc, I spent about maybe 80% of the time I was there out in the field. So you're going to be doing a lot of field craft. You're spending a lot of time out in the field. And if I'm being honest with myself, the way I really remember Ibolc is going to the field on the weekdays and drinking on the weekends. That was pretty much my Ibolc experience. Now, even though the course is a basic leadership course and one of the first courses that you'll do during your tenure in the Army, it's still a very physically demanding course. I was actually very surprised when I had got there. I had already had maybe a little over 10 years in the Army by the time I made it to Ibolc as a prior enlisted guy. I've done a lot of training where it required a lot of physical work, all these things. And I got to Ibolc and I was pretty surprised with how physically demanding the school was. So take that seriously, make sure you're staying fit now, and make sure you're getting ready to be able to ruck march for very long distances, all the way up to 16 miles. You'll do rucking throughout the entire course, and you'll build up to that 16-miler ruck, which is towards the end of the course, but you'll start off with 4 miles, or go to 6, 10, 12, all the way up to 16. And by the time you get up to that 16-mile march, you're going to be carrying a rucksack that's, if I remember correctly, it's at least 45 pounds, but then you'll have a whole bunch of extra gear in there like claymores, AT4s. You might be the guy that's stuck carrying the saw or the extra ammo. So just keep that in mind. You're going to be having very heavy packs and you're going to be traveling long distances and you'll be carrying that shit in the field a lot. Some of the highlights in Ibolc that you need to keep in your mind are going to be land navigation, TLPs, and platoon sticks. There's going to be a whole week that they're going to dedicate to land navigation. They're going to bring you guys out there to Red Diamond, and you guys are just going to spend a whole week getting your land nav down pat. Now, during that time, you'll sleep out in the field as well, and you're going to be putting tons of miles on your feet. So I highly suggest that you have a really good pair of boots and a really good pair of socks. I talk about my go-to for my boot sock combo all the time. I really like the Garma NFSs and the Fox River Fatigue Fighter socks. I'll drop a link to Amazon for that in the description if you're interested. But definitely find yourself some good footwear because you're going to need it. TLPs. For us, if I remember right, TLPs was separated into 2 blocks for a total of 2 weeks. There's TLP 1 and TLP 2. You will be required to brief a complete operations order at the platoon level to a company commander, okay? This is a go or no-go event. Some people have a hard time with this. I think we had only a couple guys that didn't pass it. But what you really want to try to do is pass the first one, because if you pass the first one, then you're good to go, and it doesn't really matter too much what you score on the second one as long as you get through it. I actually still have my old op order folder. You might be tempted to go out and buy things like this out at Commandos with little handheld op order booklets, which are nice. These are good. I use this as a PL in one of my last units. But this isn't what you should be focusing on for Ibolc, okay? Don't worry about getting this for now because they're going to hand you out this binder. Well, you need to get the binder, but they're going to hand you out a printout of a complete operations order with every sheet that needs to be filled in. See this? Hopefully you guys can see that. And I still have mine all written in and everything. And this is how they're going to want you to brief. They'll tell you they don't really care how you brief, but this is really what they want to see. You just sit down with the guy you're going to brief, and you go through your op order just like this. So don't worry about getting this little one. They'll hand out the material to you, and this is what they're going to teach you off of too. So this way you just focus on what they want to see, and that'll be that. You want to have plenty of good materials that are going to help you with your op order process, okay? And now I'll start getting into some of the gear. So first of all, definitely get yourself a whole bunch of Sharpie pens. Don't get those expensive, crazy matte marker pens, the 5-point ones, the I can't remember what they're called right now, but you see them like in all the military shops. Just get regular Sharpies to make sure you get permanent marker fine point. All right, regular Sharpies, permanent marker, fine point. These things work great, and they're like a third of the price, and you can get them in packs with a whole bunch of different colors. Just get yourself a big pack of that, maybe 2, just in case the color goes down on you or somebody starts stealing your colors, because that will happen. That way you have all the colors you need when you're making your graphics during your op order. Get whatever else you might need to help you organize. I like to put little like tabs on my notes and stuff, little post-it tabs. Those are good to have. Get yourself a couple of these dry erase markers. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you go to erase some of your permanent marker Sharpie op order graphic stuff, you can erase the permanent marker on your laminate with a dry erase marker, okay? A lot of people didn't know that. You don't have to use alcohol or alcohol wipes, which just gets really messy. Tape for overlays. And then make sure you get one of these, I think they're called like protractors or something like that, or I don't really remember what it's called. I'll find it for Amazon. I'll drop a link on Amazon for you, but definitely get one of these. This will help you make your maximum range for your weapon systems and for the enemy weapon systems, the circle range. This thing's a lifesaver, man. Instead of you making those sloppy ass circles and it's not quite added up, which can get you a no-go, you'll have one of these. Will make sure that you're very accurate with your ranges, and it's just a lot easier to use. So get one of these and don't let your buddies use it because they're just going to steal it from you. Get one of these stencils that I found on it on Amazon, so I'll share the link again down in the description. This thing is freaking money, man. Like, just having this saves so much time and makes your graphics so much prettier that like when your grader, when you're giving your op order, sees your graphics, they're going to be just super impressed about how pretty your graphics are, that they'll probably just give you a go on the spot because of that. I mean, you have all the unit symbols, you have the boxes, you have enemy, you have, look, I mean, you got armor, infantry, engineer, signal. I mean, you even have EW. You got everything, man. All the numbers, letters. They even have little avenues of approach for you. So this thing's money. Definitely get one of these. Tell your buddies about it because they're freaking awesome. All right, moving on to platoon sticks. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Again, you'll go to the field a lot more times. You'll do squad sticks. You'll go to the field for some other reasons, but platoon sticks is kind of like the big one, right? That's when you're getting your go or no-go. So you're going to go out to the field. They kind of put it in like a ranger school type setting where you'll do patrol bases every night. You'll just stay out there. You'll bring your MREs along with you, and you'll just conduct missions nonstop, back to back, and you're going to help your buddies get their goes. Okay, so it's very similar to like the ranger style of patrolling. It's really like just a week warm up for ranger school is how I like to look at it, platoon sticks. So make sure you're paying attention to the tactics that they teach you during classroom instruction, because that's what they're going to be looking for, and that's what they're going to be grading you against when you go out there and do platoon sticks. With that being said, make sure you're a helper when you're not being graded. You know, you want to be a good peer while you're going through Ibolc. It's very similar to ranger school in that aspect. You know, you want to be the guy that's doing the right thing at the right time when the other person's trying to get their go. You want to be helpful. You want to pull security the correct way. If the guy that's in the leadership position is struggling to get their go and they're not really sure what they should be doing in the moment, but you do know, it's okay to go help them out, okay? Ibolc, the instructors, they'll see that, they'll notice that, and it's just fine. It really is a team effort, okay? So don't be that guy that's not being a team player. Always be a team player. especially you future officers. So I'm gonna go over some more of the field gear that's gonna help you out while you're out in the field. All right, first thing I'm gonna go over is this one Tigris multi-use pouch, which is friggin' awesome. Okay, so it's Molly. It attaches right onto your flick or whatever they're having you wear nowadays. It opens up and it's got tons of little pouches on the inside for all your different gear. It's got little webbing in here to help you strap down stuff. And what I always used it for was to store my nods during the day, okay, because it actually opens up like pretty thick. So I'd put all my nods in here during the day, and that's where my nods would be, and I know that they were secure. But you could store a whole bunch of other stuff in here. You could put your compass in here. You could put your map in here. It even has a little wet weather proof notes and map little fold out there. So it's got another zip pouch on the inside if you have some other things that you really don't want to lose. So this thing is like, it's just a perfect admin pouch for junior officers that are out in the field and they don't want to lose their shit. Okay, so definitely look at getting one of those. You're definitely going to want to have a radio pouch, because when it is your turn to be in leadership, you're going to be given the radio, and you don't want to have to just stuff it in your pocket or in like one of your canteen pouches like a turd. You want to have a good radio pouch to keep that thing secure so you can take it in and out if you need to, and so you can tie down the antenna the way it should be if you're doing it in a professional setting. Okay, so this is a good pouch. It's the Condor radio pouch. It fits the Army radios very good. It even has like a little tie down just in case it's a little loose and you don't like it being loose. But I never have any issues with that. I usually just leave it open like this when I store my radio in there, and it just stays right there, good to go. You just tie it down on the side. Definitely get one of these. Some bungee cords. Don't get like the pink and blue ones, right? You know, get some that are like Army a little bit, or so you're not sticking out like a sore thumb during patrols. But when you're in your patrol base, they'll let you put up your poncho and make like a little bivouac site or something like that if it starts raining and everything. So you want to have some good bungee cords to help you tie down the corners of your poncho so that you can use the trees around you and stuff and make a good little hooch and stay out of the rain. All right. You definitely want to have some good gloves. My favorite gloves are the Mechanics Coverts. Right, I have 2 pairs still right now. That these actually went through Ibolc and Ranger with me. I had 3 pair, but 1 pair I lost. But these are really good. They fit really snug. They have the little loop that you can put a little S ring or a D ring on. So when you're not using your gloves, you can just put it on your kit. And you don't lose your gloves. I mean, these are just. I think these are. You know, these gloves speak for themselves. I think. You know, about 80% of soldiers use Mechanics gloves because they really are just the best gloves you can find out there. And they offer plenty of protection while still being thin and not getting your hands all sweaty. And you can wear them and still have a really good trigger pull. All right, so which is really important. It's still pretty maneuverable even though you're wearing the gloves. So definitely the Mechanics gloves, which is really a comfort item, but I found this thing to be extremely useful. When I went to Ibolc, and I still bring it out to the field with me sometimes, depending on how long I'm going to go or what I'll be doing. But this little fold-out chair is perfect. Again, it's kind of hard to find. I'll drop a link in the description for you. But this little fold-out chair, this little stool, I mean, look at that. It is just straight legit. So you sit like this, you put it on there, and then you sit on it, and now you have a little tiny chair with you. So when you're doing your terrain model, or if you're just hanging out bullshitting and you just want to get off the ground for like a minute out in the field, this thing is straight up money, man. Everybody will be jealous of you when you bring this thing out. Okay, so sometimes, you know, I'm all about discomfort and growth and all that, but sometimes it pays to have a little bit of comfort, you know what I mean? And this thing's super light. I want to say, I mean, just feeling it, it's only a few pounds. Throw it in your ruck, bring it out with you to the field, and you just have that one little piece of home with you just to make you feel a little bit better about being out there. All right, well, that's pretty much it. I think I gave a pretty decent rundown on what you should really be focused on at Ibolc. You should show up to Ibolc completely ready to learn and take in all the material that they're going to give to you. Don't go there, don't like study too much before you show up. Really, all you need to do before you show up to Ibolc is make sure you have all your paperwork in order. Make sure you're staying physically fit. Make sure you're able to pass a PT test and a 5-mile run within standards so you can pass an RPFT. Make sure you can pass a 12-mile ruck. A lot of it's physical you got to worry about. The institutional training isn't really that hard. It's not that difficult. You'll be just fine. You just got out of college. I think you're going to make it. Don't stress that out too much, okay? Try to have fun while you're down there. Really get to know the guys that you're going to be training with, because those are going to be the guys that are in your same year group. You're going to work with them later on. So make sure you're a good team player. Get to know your peers, and just try to have fun with it, man. And last but not least, use Ibolc as a train up for Ranger School. I know they're trying to get away from that, but it really is just like a pre-ranger, okay? So as you're going through Ibolc, you really need to focus on the longer term, which is going to be Ranger School, and know that you're going to have to meet those standards immediately after graduation of Ibolc. You're going to have to go straight to Ranger School. For me, I was supposed to, it was our last field problem, and we had, I think we were a week into the field, we had 1 week left, and then we were graduating. And before we went out to the field, I was told that I wasn't going to be going to Ranger School until about a month after we graduated Ibolc. Well, while we were out in the field, we were told, oh, guess what? You're going to Ranger School 3 days after you graduate Ibolc. So now I had less than 2 weeks to be ready to go to Ranger School. Well, lucky for me, I was already physically ready, and I got myself a Ranger pack for supply, and I was good to go. But just keep that in mind, that just because they tell you something about Ranger, or you have a certain amount before you go to Ranger after you graduate Ibolc, doesn't mean it's necessarily true. You might go there the weekend after graduation. You're just never really sure, so just make sure that you're prepared as you're making your way through Ibolc. Besides that, again, make sure to like and subscribe. I want as many people out there as possible to see this and get this useful information and be successful as well. And also, if you have any other questions, like, feel free to drop stuff in the comments. If you have any other input, you've been to Ibolc already, drop stuff in the comments. Just make this as useful for people as possible. That's what this is all about. All right, besides that, I don't have anything else. I'll see you guys on the next one.